Well, shoot, look, we're back on another episode of the Player Circle, man, where we got another special guest, man, another Aggie brother in of mine. As you can see, with the tattoo across his chest, man, we got Keeth Magee here, man. I'm excited to have you on. I had the chance to help coach you at the Dream Bowl, man, and it was good being able to link up. I knew you from somewhere. I'm like, where do I know this dude from, man? And then it all got connected back to the time at A&M. Man, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. All that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Keeth Magee II, the Houston kid, coach's kid, raised in Texas. Football has been a part of my life since I could walk. As most Texas children. That's really it, Coach Pugh. Proud fighting Texas Aggie class of 2020. When I first transferred out and I first got out of undergrad, when I said it, it didn't really ring. But now that I done got to that point, like just being able to say that, it just kind of bring a certain kind of like bring a certain feel to it. When you like look back on and currently am a professional football player for the San Antonio Gunslingers. Have played in 8 games. Have come and helped the team start moving towards their winning record, and just trying to help get into the IFL playoffs. And that's really it, honestly. Outside of just the Aggie, man. Just the Aggie, just trying to make my way.
So I'm already gonna apologize to it because I can already feel it right now, man. We've been have us a nice little conversation. So, because we're gonna talk this A&M game, man. Talk about all right. Let's take it back. All right. So let's talk about the recruiting process. Okay, you're out of high school. Of course, you went to A&M, so that means you one of the top guys in the state, one of the top guys in the nation. You know how that stuff goes. That's just what it is, right? What was that process like, man? Getting recruited, deciding on Texas A&M, transitioning to school. How did all that come about?
Big shout out to Coach Jeff Banks. He is a special teams guru. He is a special teams genius. I played at 5 different high schools in 4 years, just being a coach's kid. I moved around a lot.
Yeah.
Was in Columbus at the Nike Opening Regional, was a MVP there. 2-star, 3-star athlete. The recruiting process for me was different than most guys. As you saw me at the Dream Bowl, I'm not a 6'3" linebacker. I'm a 6-foot dude that knows how to bang and knows how to pop people's heads off.
So, I can attest to that.
So my way that I got to A&M, and that's the beautiful thing about our alma mater, is my value on special teams.
Right.
And Coach Banks came and he saw me at my spring game at Spring Westfield. And I was a linebacker that was fielding punts. And that definitely caught his eye. And so just with the whole recruitment process, things of that nature, I had a couple of small school offers. But what he was really adamant about was me coming and playing on special teams. And at that time, coming out of high school, I had no idea what the 12-man was, nor did I know how big and how a part of football culture that it had become at Texas A&M. And so when signing day comes, I really don't have anywhere else to go. But I know right after we get done playing in the playoffs, my dad calls me. My coach comes talk to me, he's like, hey, and I want you to come be PWO. I said, what in the world is that? They said that there are guys that they see that could possibly earn scholarships there who can show up on special teams that can be a factor, but there aren't any scholarships left for them. You got the grades, you can get into school, you can get academic scholarships, Like, we want you to go take a chance. Like, you should do it. In my head, I'm like that's not what you want to hear before signing day, because you work so hard to get that big school offer. But God got different plans sometimes.
Right.
And you got to go along that path because it's about the journey, not the destination. And so I'm like, you know what, man? Okay, forget it. Cool. Boom. So on signing day, before guys were posting that they committed somewhere for being a PWO, I was a part of the group who was the first ones where we were still kind of like, you don't put them into the limelight.
Right.
And I remember there's a video that's still on YouTube of me stuttering and talking to a reporter because I had on the A&M hat on signing day.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk about it, man. Yeah.
In that moment, I didn't know how to throw everything around because a lot of times with PWOs, most fan bases don't know about them. They don't. But I just remember that day, and I remember I was just happy to be going somewhere. And we'll get into this later. Coach Sumlin, TP, may he rest in peace. Coach Turner, Coach Moorhead, like these are names I'm throwing out, and for a lot of fans, they may not bring back the best of time, but when I tell you that there's gonna come a time where people realize how influential that staff was to the school, and I say that because of the men whose lives that they impacted.
Yeah.
And so, man, the journey was crazy. Ran track my senior year, and in the moment, coach, that I graduated on like May 31st. Summer one start on like June 2nd. So I got my mom crying. My mom got tears in her eyes. My dad then got me a new Camaro. We got the whips packed. It's off the College Station. And at the time, Coach Sumlin had us staying in Reveille Ranch. And I can remember moving into my apartment. And then when my parents left, I was like, I'm really here.
It's real now.
Boom. And so to answer that part, because we definitely gonna get into it, but up until that point, it was kind of like a dream, and then it kind of like I was on bliss until fall camp came. But we're gonna get to fall camp because I don't think a lot of people understand that, man.
Let's get into it because I understand, man. I want to get into your transition from high school to college. I remember when I came in, like I was class 06, right? I'm coming in my freshman year. At the time, it wasn't like when y'all were coming in because, shoot, I came in summer 2, I think, maybe. But shoot, I came in, man, my dad made me do 15 hours in the summer, bro. And with classes trying to combine all that stuff, I was getting it, right? And so you talk about that transition, man. You going in, you got the preferred walk-on status going in there. What was that transition like now that you're into the football mode? All right, man. So look, man, I graduated from high school. My mama dropped me off. The tears are shed. It's time to go to work. What was that transition like?
You go from being a guy to being a freshman. Like I played on the highest levels and on some of the best teams in Texas high school football. So I was always the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I think that's the biggest transitions that certain kids don't get, and especially this newer generation where they have instant gratification. They don't understand what it's like to go from being the dude to now you back at square one. And I ain't just talking about square one, like square one, and it's like going into the Coliseum. It's one gladiator over here, it's another one over here. And I was class of 2016, coach. When I came in, we talking Myles Garrett, Deshaun Hall, Christian Kirk, Ricky Steele-Jones, Trevor Knight, Josh Reynolds, Jermaine Illuminor, Avery Genesee, Eric McCoy. Like I can keep naming them. So like you come in as a freshman, you see these dudes, you like, okay, all right. And so you find out real quick, like, all right, pup, like. This ain't no joke.
Right.
This is for real. The class schedule is for real. And then even then too, in summer, when you come from summer class, what a lot of people don't know is the college towns are usually dead. Unless you're in some type of city, there ain't really a lot of people around.
Nope.
So, and then also when we came in, we had Coach Jackson as our strength coach. And sled day on Friday, Coach Pugh, I ain't gonna lie. My first sled day, I was like, all right, I ain't never tapped.
Well, man,
but I don't know.
Question. It's like, do I really want to do this?
Well, I'm gonna throw the towel in because you don't understand like the level that you got to go to. Like you done got to the level. Now it's another level that you got to go to, and then being a PWO, you got to go above and beyond that. because you still got to prove your worth. And I think that's one thing that I loved about being a PWO is because it kept that chip on your shoulder. There was no time for complacency.
Yeah.
Because then I came in, linebacker that I came in with, it was myself, Tyrell Dotson. Defensively,
TD,
it was Justin Matabuke,
and Hines was there too, right?
OKK. Mm-hmm.
Hines, yep, because Hines is Plano boy. Yeah, I'm from Plano, so I know Hines.
Yeah, so like, so Hines came in like the next year. So like, that room itself with Hines, me, Buddy Johnson, Braden White, Tyrell Dotson. Yep, Ataro Alaka, Akano KK, like Justin Dunning. Like it's so many names that you can just say.
Dunning. Yep.
Like it's there's so much talent in the room. So you either gonna have to put up or shut up.
Yeah.
And that's in every summer workout. That's in like everything that you do. But we built such a close-knit group and we really vibed with one another that it made it worth that much more. I think a lot of people don't understand too is college ball is a business for sure. But it's so much more like a frat or like a brotherhood that people kind of don't get. They don't get the feeling of going inside of a locker room. And y'all done just got up for 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You didn't have workouts before that.
Speak on it,
tired. You really don't want to go to 10:15. But you know if you don't go to 10:15, Dan Childs gonna come down off that golf cart. Why aren't y'all in class? We thought that no, go to class. Like it's those moments that kind of build and grow you into being a man because it teaches responsibility. It teaches the things that like you need to be taught. And then every single freshman that come in with his freshman class, they whole idea is, we finna go start. Forget all these old heads. Yeah, we finna come start. But some fall camp here. And you working out, you grinding, you thinking, we doing this, Then August 1st hit.
Yeah.
And it's almost like hard knocks. And like you just excited, woo, woo, woo. And then the bullets get to flying and you get like, this ain't high school no more. No. This ain't high school no more. And then like,
boy, you bringing back the memories, boy. Yeah.
What? And the veteran defense that we all came into, I'm talking Donovan Wilson, Justin Evans, Armani Watts, Dason Hall, Miles Garrett, Zay Coven Henderson. Claude George, Sean Washington. Like I ain't just talking about like no scrubs. We talking about bona fide dogs, like in big games that have been played in that arena, in Kyle Field. We talking about people like you say that name. Oh, whoa, like these are the people that we watch, but also that's like how we grew. Like the best plays I ever saw Armani and Justin Evans make were in practice. They weren't in games. And people be like, "Are you serious?" Yeah. Like I learned how to be a pro and practice professionally and learn how to thud. I didn't know what thudding was. I truly thought that it was just wrap them up. Just put your chest on them. Like we got on Shells, and I'm thinking Shells like we laid back. No, we still popping. Like it's still the bullet's still flying. And people don't get that. Or then you come out to fall camp, coach, and you got cameras everywhere. You got Billy Lucci, you got everybody out there. Like, what is going on? I'm like, we had practice. Right? You come into fall camp and you got a scout here, you got a scout there, You like, oh, it's for real. This ain't no joke. Like this is for real. Okay. All right. And then as a freshman guy, then comes scout team. Then comes the infamous that. But then you get told, because no freshman wants to hear about going to scout team. But then you hear that Mike Evans was on scout team. And Johnny was on scout team. And at one point in time, Kendrick Rogers was also on scout team. Like, having to go against who we went against, which is the first string offense, and we go and we give looks, and we're supposed to go full speed. We're supposed to go there. People don't understand, like, that stuff matters. Like, kids nowadays may not want to do it, but I tell the kids, like, anytime a week, if you get a chance, if you at the point to where you a 3, right, or a 2, but you can't get enough reps, and you go to scout team, you can go build and create yourself. you could come out because people got to understand there are really, truthfully, 3 phases of the college season. You got the beginning of the season, which is pre-conference.
Yep.
Where people are still trying to iron some stuff out. You got the conference season, which when the SEC is going to be tagged with injuries. Somebody gonna get injured somewhere at some point in time, and another person is gonna get an opportunity to run with it. And then you got bowl season, postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of young guys don't understand is that your biggest leaps come preseason or the pre-conference postseason.
Yeah.
Because then you really get to understand the defense. You really get to understand offensive concepts. You get to like listen to old heads be like, hey, I did this on you because you was this way. Or I need to do this. The reason I'm able to play zone so well is because I watched Eric McCoy, who starts for the Saints right now.
Yeah.
He has the fastest zone step I've ever seen in my life. But that's because when I was on scout team having to give him a look, he would go through his step. So I was able to see and take it all in. So now when I play against it or I'm able to move against it, I've learned because I've been crafting myself. And so a lot of times people don't really understand that, like, even when you feel like you've gone down in the college game, you're only going there to go build yourself. Like a lot of times the college game is all about molding. And that's the reason why, like, you see guys, you'd be like, has a pop out year one year, and then the next year, like, where did he come from? He was on scout team giving them great looks, and the team has a respect for them. Like, it's one thing about being a guy, and this ain't no disrespect to all these kids that have all these NIL deals and it's TikTok,
Talk about it.
But it's something about the respect that you get from your peers when you chose to pick up your lunch pail and go do the job that don't nobody want to do. Nobody wants to go be a scout. Nobody wants to go be on P squad. Nobody wants that. But it's a testament to you as a teammate to be like, look, dog, you helped us prepare. I got respect for you. I'm gonna help you get better as you help me get better. So iron gonna sharpen iron. And then when the bowl season come around, now it's the old heads that, because the season that got there, they don't want to take as many reps. Hey, pup, go on. Go take that rep. Go take that rep. Go take that rep. Like my redshirt freshman season, when I first touched the field, Dwayne Thomas played Sam for us at A&M. There was a moment where situations had changed, and he came to me and he was like, "Hey, you need any help at saying this is in the third? Look, you got it. Go on." And if he hadn't have done that, the things that happened that year probably wouldn't have happened. And so what people don't get is that in the college game, it's people help. Like, when we win, we win. Like, that's very synonymous. When we're good, everybody's good. People think that it's a lie because we live in a society where it's me. But from 2016, coach, to 2020, I wasn't molded like that. That's not the brotherhood that I was a part of. It was watching Christian Kirk go put in hours on the jug machine, watching Jay Ray come and be a great teammate and also go make plays on Saturday, listening to Armani Watts and Justin Evans being out there in the hot sweat, and you get the respect from them, plus Donovan Wilson, like, those are things that, like, help mold you into a player. And then it also helps mold you when that stadium gets 100,000 and you can't hear nothing in there, when you just go and you dial in, because that's just the pedigree. Like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And like, people kind of, nowadays, people, Coach, there was a time when we didn't post videos about us working out. I ain't trying to shoot no shots at nobody, but I just gotta say it. Like, somebody gotta say it. Like, when we was in the grind, like, we grinded. You know what I mean? Like, when we was out in the heat and the heat index is 102, and you trying to figure out how you finna run these last 3 110s, you're gonna get it done. Right? When Coach Schmidt took us to the stadium, when we running these 110s, he's saying, okay, you bend it over now. Picture all these people in the stands. Are you gonna bend over there? Like, it's stuff like that people don't see. And I don't think
they don't understand. They don't understand, man.
They can't really fathom it. You know what I mean? So as a freshman, trying to get, not knowing that A&M was going to change my life in that aspect, Is
Yeah.
what I could have never ever thought of. Like even going back, if I had to do all over again, I'm still choosing A&M every
Yeah.
day of the week.
Man, you said something that stood out. So a couple parts I want to get into it. I understand what you're saying as a freshman. Like for me, when I came in, I played as a freshman, so it was more of a shock for me. I'm on the field doing it, right? But I didn't start, so it was more of a delayed gratification that I had to learn. But I really didn't understand. Like I understand a lot of what you're saying, but I really didn't get it till my rookie year in the league. I'm out here doing practice squad. I'm like, hold on, dog. I was out here killing it on the field just last year. Y'all drafted me. Now I got to go do scouting. What are we talking about? But man, being able to learn, I had my guy like C.J. Wilson, man, the Chris Gambles of the world. You know what I mean? John Beason's playing with Luke Kuechly. Boy, we used to sit down, break it down, so I understand the family aspect that you're talking about, right? Now, when we get into it, man, and I'm a high school kid, man, I hear this like, damn, bro, like we got to go through all that, like, dog, like the college game really like that. And I'm a preferred walk on, for example, or let's say I'm a late guy to the scholarship game, man, and I sign in the second window, so I'm really not the high priority. How do I stand out, man? You in a room with Dawson, you in a room with a whole bunch of great linebackers, the Miles Garrett's, the Deshaun Hall, whatever. You can go down the list of all the top players that came through there, right? Sean Washington, whatever. How do I stand out, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm trying to play. I understand that they great. I understand that they good, but what do I need to do, man, in order to showcase myself to these coaches? What would you say to those guys?
If you ever get a chance to talk to T Dot, he will tell you that me and the former 12th man, Braden White, there was not a crazier duo on scout team our true freshman year, or in that facility doing workouts during the summer. Like there wasn't a crazier duo. And just the competition too. Like I'm so close, and I respect T Dot and Anthony Hines and Buddy Johnson, and all those guys that were there with me so much because I wanted to always compete. Like I wanted to get better, and that was the only way I was gonna get better. Like iron sharpens iron, and so like to get the coach's attention, it's like I had to do something. And like TP said, and man, do I miss him, dog? Bring the juice. That's it. Like that's the first time I had heard it in my life, and just whenever I would see him, he just always wanted to make sure that I was high octane. Bring the juice, do something.
Right.
Like for me, that's who I was. I was the juice guy. When I made a play, you're gonna hear me. When some of them pissed me off, you're gonna hear me. Because I had to be seen. Like nobody was gonna come looking for me. So I had to make you look for me.
Exactly.
And so whether it be a scrimmage, whether it be chance, whether it be something, like the core of who you were, the essence of who you were has to shine brighter than your circumstance. And then you also got to realize
good, man.
too.
That's good.
The game don't have that many more coaches left like them. But the TPs, the David Turners, the Moorheads, the Sumlins, the guys who respect the guy who's willing to bet on himself when there's no guarantee. Like, there was never a guarantee that I ever was going to touch the field at A&M. There was never a guarantee that at one point I was going to be up for the 12th man possibly. There was never a guarantee, none of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why you jump off the cliff, and so people respect that. It's when you get a chance to have a coach be like, to his scholarship dude that he done brought in, that he's not really doing what he wants him to do, and he needs to have a bell cow. And why don't you go be a dog like him? My true freshman year, once my redshirt freshman year, I had more times when coaches would do that. Then when they would be like, "Oh, he's just gonna walk on." Because to me, once I got there, once I got past my my redshirt year, that PWO thing went out the window. To me, I'm an A&M football player. Not like none of that. People knew me. People knew me from the scrimmages. They knew me from the spring game, and like going and leading up into that, like I popped off that spring because our defensive coordinator was John Chavis, and Keeath took a liking to me, respected what I did, because what a lot of people don't know, I got one rep my first fall camp. My true freshman year, I got one rep, and that's a shock to me. I'm a Texas high school starter. Like you said, like I was just it's something like you couldn't have touched my team with our defense, and I got one rep. And I had to understand the game within the game. I had to understand the business. It was a lot of, at the time, there were a lot of boosters who didn't know who Keeth Magee was. So you couldn't just throw this walk on after him as much as you may have wanted to, because then it's like, well, then if you throwing him out there, why didn't y'all offer him? So you got to see the different game that the college coaches also had to play. So I had to learn that. So it's where like, okay, this is why it's delayed too. Okay, you showing this, but we have to delay this too, because it's a business aspect, young man, that you're not even seeing yet. And then when I started to see the business aspect, like, oh, okay. So when we miss a tackle out there, like it really is serious. Like they really on y'all. Oh, so we messed up a coverage. Like it's really that serious. And as a kid, you thinking, no, it's not. It can't be. It's just a game. But then you realize we go to a school that is in the Forbes magazine. We go to a school that accumulates all of this revenue every single year. So it's like, that's why. Okay, cool. Bet, coach. Like we here. Bet. Okay, keep grinding. Because my first time I saw action was against Arkansas. I got pancake one play, missed a tackle in cover two the next play, and then there was a stop, but I ended up grading out at a 0. Chavis graded me out at a 0. We keep going, and my next big time play that I make is against Florida. And I ended up having a decent, great game for a young buck against Florida. And then after that, it was like, McGee, we've been through this. It was about time that you knew it. And I remember Coach Sumlin coming up to me. I'm in my locker, just came in from treatment. Came up to me, looking like, you playing some really good ball right now. And there's a preferred walk-on that had a head guy at the time come and be like, hey, look here, I see you. See you, okay, for sure. And then to have the respect to everybody in the locker room really meant more.
That's big.
I mean, like, on that team alone, when they do a documentary about A&M, because they're going to do one, and they look at 2016 up until now, they're going to realize just how much of a perennial powerhouse and NFL machine maker this school is.
Man, don't get me on my rant, because I can go down the list of names that was on our squad.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? Because then people forget, like the inaugural season of the college football playoff, A&M was number 4. Tennessee came down to A&M when there was 115 standing.
I was on the sideline
that day. Field. When Armani makes the pick, and we beat the people. Forget about that. How if Trevor Knight doesn't get hurt, if his shoulder don't get banged up against Mississippi State, A&M could possibly have a college football championship. I'm being so serious. People don't understand, because that team was just loaded. You know, Travion Williams, who was a man among boys in our class, he came in. He looked like a superhuman. Then you have Jay Ray plus Trevor Knight. The O-line was stout. You come to the defense was stout. And so, like, you look at a couple plays from the 2016 season, and it's like, oh Lord, now
right there,
now A&M right there. Then you go to 2017. And when we opened up against UCLA and was beating the break, it was such a physical domination in the first half. Everybody was like, oh, okay, they for real. And if we hadn't messed up and we hadn't made certain plays that would have happened, now everybody, like, we could be saying a different thing in College Station. Like, I'm just being real now. There's just a guy who was in the locker room on the sideline. Like, we did some things where, like, we could have been spooky, but that's just not what the cards were.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, bro, because I say that all the time, man. I tell people all the time, A&M is a sleeping giant, dog. And
the biggest.
And A&M to me is A&M. As of right now, of course, the season hasn't started yet with Elko coming in there. But as of right now, A&M is a Dabo Swinney away. Clemson and A&M are the same program to me. Clemson was always there knocking at the door. They finally got the right guy to flip the switch, right? Because you think about when I play, man, Steve McGee, Mike Goodson, Cyrus Gray, Vaughn Miller, Mike and Martellus Bennett, Big Red Bryant, bro, we had lists of dudes, bro.
Dogs.
You see what I'm saying? All cats that went pro, man. Gerard Johnson, Ryan Tannehill, Ryan Swope. But all the, I mean, I tell people all the time, like, that's a list of cats I played with, man. That we were always just, it was there, but we can never just flip that switch, right? Now, you said something that was interesting. He talked about the business of the game, and I think this is something that we can both relate to because same thing happened in my time. My first 2 years at A&M was under Dennis Franchione. My last two was under Mike Sherman, right? So we talk about that coaching transition. Man, you had the opportunity with Sumlin when he was there, and then you're looking at that transition into Jimbo, right? What was well, we're going to a business aspect. How do you stand out, man? You have your guy, right? And man, you're doing your thing. You know what I mean? He's seeing what you're doing. You finally got you got your bells, man. You got a couple years up under you, getting noticed, boom, and all of a sudden, damn, a new coach comes in. The switch comes. Man, he already has his mindset set on what he wants. How do you stand out when that new staff comes in? What would you tell kids now?
One, don't do what I did.
Okay.
Be more of a man about your business. And what I mean by that is the game that someone got let go, LSU, was the same game that I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
And so, man, it's definitely deflating. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say it's not. I'm not going to sit here and not give you the real. This is the real. When you have to come from the bottom to climb the ladder to the top, and you're just about to get there, and you're just about to finally cement yourself, and now we here with it. Because I think back to that game, I had like four or five tackles going into the fourth quarter. I'm thinking, okay, this the game. Like we finna lead with double-digit tackles. Boom, like we here now. And then just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. And now you're thinking, because it's just like, because when I tore my ACL, I didn't swell at first. So everybody just thought they could have been a sprain, My head, I'm thinking I didn't tear it. Like I heard the pop, but it's okay. I just hyperextended. And then it happens. And I can remember going to my apartment, and I stayed with Braden White. And Braden, he gathered me up, told me I was going to be good. And I walked up the stairs, coach, and I broke down crying.
Yep.
Because it's a lot of moments that led up to that moment. Like, it's a lot of stuff that led up to like right now, like not like this.
Yeah.
I ain't no way, man. Not like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you hear about the coaching change, and like as like a player, like these father figures, grandfather figures, you don't want to see them go. Like, ain't nobody wanted to see Chief go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Coach Turner, Coach Sumlin, Coach Moorhead. Like I didn't want to see them go because like these the guys who gave me a shot.
Yep.
Like they bet on me. Like when they jobs when they didn't have the best job security, they said, you know what, put the kid in. He didn't show us this, put the kid in. Like it's not enough coaches left like that.
Yeah.
And so when you get the transition into the Jimbo era, I had to learn that I couldn't be the same person.
That's good, man. Yeah.
I couldn't be the same person with someone that I was with Jimbo. Like they're two different individuals, two different coaching styles.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times and as much as the old man would get on my nerves, a lot of stuff that Jimbo would say rang true.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times there were a lot of people who he was trying to teach and trying to get them to see how important what was on the inside mattered more than what was on the out. And I think that I was one of those people. I think that a lot of times he was a lot of times when I would come to him, he would say certain things. He would almost get upset because I think that he wanted me to stand more on what it was I was going to stand on. At the time, I really couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And so now I think back and it'd be like, he said this, was this what he like really meant? Almost like when like your dad or your grandpa says something and you go years down the line, you like, wait, that's what he meant?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remember like that transition was there. And so like my roles shifted. And then like the guys who had gained respect for me, most of them left. Outside of the people who were there, who were there with me. And when we came into the Jimbo Fisher transition, there was so much pressure on us to be great. People knew what was in College Station, so there was so much pressure. And then we beat LSU in that game that year. So there's even more pressure.
I remember that. Yep.
And so it changed from where it was more business and what people wanted to be business. And so therefore it kind of took some of the love out of the game. And then it kind of, you had to zero in, it kind of got more professional. It kind of got more like the NFL.
Yeah.
And I remember this is like right leading up to COVID, after I'd have battled all of these injuries, finally working myself back, right? Just little by little. And that's when we had the letter in regards to the statue on campus. And that's when we had those gatherings for the community and stuff of that nature. And I remember I was really torn, but about if I really wanted to help within it, because then it was like I don't want to risk losing what I gained back again. And I remember going into his office. I'm like, I'm torn, like I'm annoyed. Like I don't know how to like express it to him, because we never really connected on like that level where like I could just express it. And then like Jimbo was more like a hard-nosed grandpa, so it was more like like I don't want to bring feelings to him, because like it's not kind of what he's taught us. And I can remember sitting there and be like, Coach, I just don't know if I'm doing it. And like when Jimbo would get annoyed or upset, or he wanted you to get something, the tone of his voice would change ever so slightly. And if you got coached by him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And he was like, he said something in the realms of like, didn't you make the decision? I said, yes, sir. He was like, well, then you got to follow whatever decision it is that you made, and you have to stand on that. And now that we sitting here having this conversation, now I understand what he was saying. And now I understand the business aspect about what he was saying. Now I understand the football aspect about what he was saying. Now that's where it was bigger than life. Now it's like, all right, for sure. Now I get it. And it's like a young kid, like what I would say when kids go to college, because it's going to happen. Coaches are going to leave. It's football, it's college football, there's a coaching carousel. The best ones, if you have the opportunity to be around them, listen to what they say, not how they say it. Because if you can listen to what they say, they can throw nuggets in there, because you have to realize it's really a chess game. So a lot of times if they can't just come out and say, hey, don't do that, it'd be something different. Just like the guy that's there now, Coach Elko, love him to death. That mad scientist is going to rank. People just don't understand what's coming. He do, because I know how his mind works.
And we do. We know.
But I remember, I'll say this thing too, to kids and to parents. You have to let your children, your young boys, you got to let them be men and have those tough conversations that may be uncomfortable for them to have. Because too many times in my career did I have someone speak on my behalf. You cannot do that. You have to go in there and like you have to speak. And so I remember the last conversation that I had with Coach Elko, and I didn't get it then, what he was trying to tell me. Because a lot of times people, and then a lot of times you got to understand this too. When staffs are put together, men are there to do a job. They ain't there to kumbaya. They ain't there to do this. They are there to win, because they get paid a lot of money to make sure that we win. So you have to understand there are certain things that happen in there, if you can read between the lines of what I'm saying, that can't really be spoken about publicly. But Coach Elko was trying to get me to understand what I do now. And so as I left A&M, things were not done in the way that they should have been done. And when I get back, because I'm definitely going to have to go back, we're going to have to chop it up, because I get it now. And so my next thing to like the young kids is that Do not allow people to use your platform for their own gain.
Yeah.
And this is not trying to be on no spiel, call it what you want to call it. You are not called to be a protester. You are not called to be an activist. You was not called to be this, and the third. You was called to be a football player. That's what your platform is. Now, what you want to do with your platform is cool. What I had to learn is that just because you can does not necessarily mean that you should. Just because you have this move to make, don't make it like a checkers move, make it like a chess move, because you never know who's watching and you never know how something can be received. Your intention versus your impact matters way more than you think. You can intend great things all the time, Coach Pugh.
Yeah.
But your impact is what really matters. And so if your impact is messed up, or if your impact impacts someone the wrong way, no matter what your intentions were, you had to take accountability for it.
Right.
And at the time, Tyler Santucci, Mike Elko, I cannot thank those two men enough of what they tried to tell me. That I didn't listen to, but now I understood. And
man,
honestly,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If it wasn't for them, we probably not speaking on this card right now, because they would tell me things, and this is what people don't get, and which is why Coach Elko will be a great fit and is a great fit for A&M. He will love on you like his son, because he's smart enough to know how to teach you in a way that everybody else is looking this way, but he got you looking that way.
Right.
And it's like, you be like, how can he do all of this? And he has this defense that's gonna do this. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
But you go into his office and it looks like a laboratory. I promise you, it does. It looks like a laboratory. He got the paper over here. He got some drew up over here. And with all this stuff, he gonna sit down. How you doing, bud? Hi, Coach Elko. What's wrong? It's a lot of time you can go in there. What's wrong?
Yep.
And like, you take that deep breath, he gonna, yep, and he gonna have you understand stuff. When I was annoyed at what I could do to get better, he set me down and was like, there's a guy on our team that I wish could start, but I can't because of this, and the third. But he knows that. Do you see what
right.
It's another aspect of the game. So hopefully that answers your question.
Hey man, look man, you're doing a hell of a job, dog. Because this is why I love doing it, especially with the players. Like when I bring the coaches on, man, it's fun, it's cool, but of course they're coaches, so they got to be PC here and there. They can't really get in like they want to get in, like kind of what you're talking about with Elko, right? But also the thing I like too, man, is talking to all the guys and hearing the maturation process, right? From when they went off to the school to when they leave, man, like your mind is grown. You've experienced things. You've had the ups, you've had the downs, you've had the adversity, right? And like one of the things that's cool now that I'm coaching, man, is kind of like what you said with Elko. You get to see that happen. You get to see the kids be like, all right, man, I get it now, coach. And that's the coolest thing in the world. You know what I mean? For you, you transition out of A&M, all right? And man, let's talk about that. How you ended up at Gardner-Webb, right? You finish your time, and how did that transition come about, man? How did you find your way to Gardner-Webb? What were those days like?
Once again, kids, y'all listen, just don't do what I did. When I transferred out, I should have went into the office with Coach Elko, Coach Santucci, and Coach Fisher and told them what I was feeling. Because at the time, I didn't have the best support system to look out for me. And they could have talked to me and been like, why would you want to do that? Well, Coach, this is what I'm feeling. Well, why would you want to do that? Because that's not what that is. And we would have been able to talk as men talk. Sometimes stuff gets heated, and that's the thing. A lot of times, this new generation, you run away from like confrontation. But no, sometimes you gotta butt heads. Like you gotta come. Like we gotta come here, and we gotta rub a little bit. It's gonna get a little heated. but at least we can respect each other and be like, okay, bet, coach. Okay, for sure. I didn't think that, but I didn't know that I was doing this either. Okay, cool. I can fix that. Cool. And then now you can not lengthen your journey unbeknowingly, and you can be able to then stay focused on what you came here to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the ways that things were done as I began to depart myself from A&M were not done in the best way on my end. And I'll be here, I'll sit here and like accountability wise take it. And if the madman, the mad scientist, Coach Elko does listen to it, like I was wrong in things that I did.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't give that man enough credit about how much he cares about his athletes.
Yeah.
And so therefore
That's hard to find, man. That's hard to find.
I owed him enough to come and speak to him, not a parent or a person. Yeah. No, I should have came and spoke to him. And so that would be my advice to kids, like just go speak. Sometimes it's just, I know it's gonna feel anxious because your generation used to being on a phone all day, but just go have a conversation. And I promise you everything gonna smooth itself out. But it was the COVID year. So a lot of stuff was weird. We almost thought we wasn't gonna have football.
Yeah.
I was keyed in at a number 2 before I left, which to this day it's like, boy, I ain't had somebody be like, boy, what is you doing?
What is you doing? Yeah, yep.
Because I had finally worked myself back when we was in fall camp, and I was like, basically, I was a problem on scout team.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, kids. Hear me. You want to be a problem on scout team.
Yeah.
Because that means that you showing such great of a look where they're like, I mean, he got to give him something. Like, he got to do something.
He
got to go on kickoff
Yep.
or KOR. He got to do something. And also, kids, special teams get you to the league. You can be a vet on special teams.
Yes, you can.
You can go run down on kickoff and get paid 6 figures. Okay, there we go. I just had to make sure I said that so that they can hear it.
Yeah.
All right. So they can hear it. You can go make a lot of money just running down on special teams. All right. Just
you can even make millions. You can make millions. I have quite a few former teammates who made millions.
Okay. Just special teams. Okay. Special teams have special players, right? Just so y'all can hear it. Special teams. Say it again. I had worked myself back into a spot, but everything with the statue and then George Floyd and all of the other stuff got having me where I wasn't making the best decisions.
Right.
So I'm sitting here and like another thing happened to another thing. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. And in my head, at the time, I was working off of emotion, and I shouldn't have been, because at the end of the day, I wear it around my neck for anybody that can see. That's that Aggie ring. You know what I mean? I wear it around my neck for a reason. Like, that place turned me into a man. It gave me a choice to continue football when nobody else wanted me to. So to do what I did just was uncharacteristic of me. And so we transitioned out, and then I needed to go get film because I had burned some bridges, lit fire to some bridges, and I shouldn't have. So I go to Charleston, West Virginia, to go play at this D3 school for this little spring season. In my head, it's like, get the film and get out again. People just want to see you play, which I did, but then I did it wrong again. Not really going to go have a conversation. Got the wrong support system. Then I found myself homeless.
Wow.
That part. If it hadn't have been for the beautiful woman that I call my girlfriend now, I don't know where I'd be right now. Young men, it is very important that you surround yourself with a person who is willing to hold you accountable, check you on your BS, and see in you what others cannot see in yourself. And 2020 through 2021 and leading up into the summer of 2021 was very hard because I had put the ball down, Coach. I didn't think I was coming back to the ball. I thought, that is what it is. But I was so angry at everything and everybody. Because then I started to realize, like, that was just a bad decision. Like, why you let me make that decision? Da, 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 da. But then I had to go look in the mirror, like, bonehead, you made it.
Right.
Like, you can talk about everybody that influenced you, dumb, but you made it.
Right.
So until you get over being mad at yourself and forget yourself, you can't move nowhere. So I had put the ball down and thought that I was with my business degree from A&M, we're gonna find something to shake, entrepreneurship. We're gonna move this way.
Right.
And I remember that's the same year that we beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
We beat Alabama, and I saw all the young boys like Nye Smith, all of them that came in after me, and I saw them. And my girl can attest to this story. I saw them while I was working at a Nike outlet in Chandler, Arizona. I saw them and I got hyped. And when we got home, I was just walking up the stairs, staying with her. She making sure that I'm not out on my own. And I froze. Like it's like an out of body. I froze. And just tears started falling down my face. And she's looking at me and she's like, "What's wrong?" She's like, I just told her, like, I'm supposed to be out there. Like, I ain't supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be out there. Like that's peace. Like, I don't know what we gotta do, babe. I'm supposed to be out there. Like, I got tears. Like, I'm full blown just tears down my eyes. And so, like, I don't know what happened. It was like somebody whispered in my ear and was like, "Okay, it's time. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on."
Yeah.
And like I just flipped, like it's like a switch flipped again. It's like, okay, bet. It's time to get back right.
Yeah.
And so started working out again. Like something gonna shake, film here, film there. It's gonna be somebody somewhere. And then things kept going. I had to then transition to kind of go stay with someone else because like I was just moving from place to place. But she conjoined in my hip, like, I got you. Like, I'm right here for you. Like, you go get there.
Right.
And she gets offered by Gardner-Webb for softball. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how God works. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy because look, she got offered by Gardner-Webb, and I'm sitting here like, okay, we may be at two different schools as far, but I'm gonna go somewhere because I had went to Southern.
Yeah.
And I tried to get on with Southern, but Southern kind of looked at me and kind of just brushed me off. Was like, nah, move around. So I took that. I was like, okay, for sure. Right. They don't know yet, but they too will see for sure. And she tells the softball coach, "Hey, my boyfriend played at A&M. He's been looking for a school. I don't know how football works." She was like, "Hey, I'll reach out to the football coach, who at the time was Trey Lamb." And then she said she reached out to the coach. He's gonna text him. And I must have blew Coach Lamb phone up like crazy. Like, "Hey, Keeath Magee, hey, And he finally sent me the linebackers coach number, who is my dog to this day, Michael Gray. He coaches with the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. He called me. He was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good, coach. Just out here, just working out. I'm in some little field down in Seabrook, Texas." He goes, "So what are you trying to do? You just trying to finish out your bottle?" I'm like, "Hey, nah, coach. I'm trying to play professionally. You can call him right now and be like, I'm trying to play professionally. Ain't no just finishing." At this point, like, I've seen, like, it's one thing when, like, how people come and talk about, like, if you got 6 people in one room, only like one of y'all may make it to the NFL. Coming from where we from, you got 26 dudes in a room, 19, 20 of them will be in the league, and 26 of them will either be in the league, the CFL, or somewhere overseas. That's just where we come from. So all these numbers that, like, all these naysayers start talking about, they don't matter to Aggies because we just we different. We hear something, we just do something different. And so he said, he was like, "Okay, cool." He was like, "I think that you can do this, and the third for us, and we'll see you." Well, they wanted me as a PWO,
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I ain't had no way to pay for school. But because it's FCS, I didn't have to be in school during summer one. Then, like I said, coach, it's crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
how he look.
Yep.
I ain't
Yep.
have to be in school during summer one. So which means the loans, if I had to get them, could be applied to summer two.
Yeah.
So still working out of I get there in summer two. Stay in a hotel for 2 weeks. Then I go get in an apartment in Boiling Springs. My girl is with me. She in school.
Yeah.
I'm in school. Was we a week in the camp? We may have been a couple of days in the camp. Coach Land called me over. He was like, "How many years you got left?" Like they say one, but I got 2 left. Coach was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put you on scholarship."
Wow.
Like when I say to then go, so for everybody that ain't been following, to go from PWO,
Yep.
scholarship at A&M, transfer out,
Yeah.
homeless,
Yeah.
PWO again to scholarship, and you just got there. Come on now, like you can't. It's a
Oh
lot.
God,
It's a
baby.
lot.
That's how it works.
It's a lot more greater forces at work. You know what I mean? But it's just being consistent. Consistency is key. And so that happens. And when that happens, I remember like my girl come and get me, go to the apartment. She put her hand on me, start rubbing my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just smiling ear to ear because like to go from where you went from, kid, to get back. Cause I got this crazy feeling, coach. I got all these homeboys that's in the league, in the CFL, and in the XFL. They just waiting on me.
Yeah.
And I told them like they waiting, but I'm coming. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
And so when I got to Gardner-Webb, I was a part of one heck of a team where a lot of these dudes in my linebacker room could have played in the SEC. Like the year that I got there, we had 9 guys that played all over 65 snaps. And for somebody that knows ball in a linebacker room, it's a lot of snaps.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of there's a lot of experience in one room. And so we had a team at a school that had never won anything.
Mm-hmm.
We started winning 6-4 conference championship, Big South championship.
Mm-hmm.
Get knocked out by William and Mary. I had like 5 or 6 tackles. And I kept telling everybody, man, I think that a lot of times, like this whole journey has been a testament to when I spoke something into existence, it then came to exist. Everybody was like, you only have 1 year to die. I kept telling my coach, like, coach, I got another year. Like, I ain't tripping, Coming from my agent meeting, hey, I think you can get your year back, Like, the only coach on the staff, like, Coach Gray, I think you can get your year back. Let's put it in, do this, Got the year back. This past year didn't go the way that I thought. So now I'm sitting home at the crib, like, dang, like you done came a long way, but this can't be the end. All this strife, all this couldn't be the end.
Can't end like
so
this.
I hit up the guy who wanted me to play at the Dream Bowl the year prior. Like, hey, y'all still got a spot? All I need is a spot. He was like, we got a spot. Okay, cool. And then, as you see, the rest is history.
Yeah, man.
And then do what I did.
No, I love this, bro. Like, shoot, man. We can go on for another hour, man. We got 5 minutes left. But because there's so many other things. We're going to have to do another one, dog, because there's so many other things I want to add on to this. Man, I love, man, from listening to your story, man, from the time that you started out of high school to where you are now, the maturation process, the lessons learned, the adversity, the ups and downs, all this stuff is beautiful, but most importantly, it's a redemption. You had an opportunity to redeem your career, bro. You know what I mean? And seeing it unfold, man, it's cool as hell to see that, dog. And I want to give you some ups because, man, I know from the kids I deal with, all the guys I've had playing college, man, my old teammates, me being a former player, I understand the ups and downs of this thing. I get it. I know how hard this thing can be sometimes and all you're asking for is somebody to believe in you. That's what you're asking for. And then you're getting the opportunity to see all your fruit the fruits of your labor. You're starting to be able to reap those things. So, man, that mug is cool to see. We'll end it with this. If there's one thing that you would leave anybody with, hey, man, we've talked for an hour. We've done all this. If you don't remember anything that I said in this entire interview, I'll need you to remember this. What would you tell everyone?
Consistency in yourself.
Oh, okay.
If you don't remember nothing that came out of my mouth, you have to be consistent and outlast where others will tap out.
Good, man.
That's the only
good.
thing that make me different than anybody else that probably was in a similar like position as me. They just tapped. And this is just something that like I have this is just something that I've kind of just thought is like consistency. There's a Japanese term called kaizen, and it's about improving yourself every single day, even if just by 1%, one fraction of yourself.
Right.
For the young and for the young guys, you stack consistent days, because when somebody want to come in and be like, I can do the work with you, nah, bro, I got 180 days on this.
Right.
If we're both stretching and I got 7 days at 4 hours and you got 5 days at 2 hours, you got 10 hours of stretching. I have 14. Right. You multiply that times 3 weeks. Now I have 42 and you have 30. Right. Look at where the gap goes now. People don't get that. When you see all of these guys that go undrafted to Hall of Famer, undrafted to now they here, undrafted to you done seen the coach. Ain't nothing different about none of these other dudes. It's just that they just consistent. Like they gonna come and they gonna chop with every day, every single day. And then when they opportunity come, they prepared for the moment. So it ain't nothing to them, and then just moving. And so a lot of times this generation wants instant gratification. It's consistency, because consistency builds essence. Inky Johnson says it all the time. Who you are off of this field is the same person who you are on. So when you're consistent in life, you bring it to the football field, and you consistent here too. It's just essence. It's just you being consistent in yourself. And so when the time comes, who you are does not become bigger than that moment.
Man, that's good, man. That's good, dog. So we're gonna end it on that, man. I appreciate you, man. Everybody, this is Keeath Magee, A&M brother at A&M Aggie, man. Let me make sure I say this right. Future/present pro football player.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Timestamp that. I want to make sure I say that in the right deal, man. We gonna get back on here, dog, because here's what I'm gonna do. Since we like to speak things into existence around here, I'm gonna say we are July 1st. July 1st of 2025, we'll be talking about how you just finished up either your NFL, your UFL, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna come back and we're gonna recap this video we did, and then we're gonna do an update on what happened in the previous 365 days. Can we agree to that?
Yes, sir. We can agree to that, Coach.
All right, man. Well, shoot, that's another episode of the Player Circle, man. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys got a lot of insight out of this. And shoot, man, we out.
Yes, sir.